Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this edition of DMS 3000 News Live. It's episode 42 on this Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. I am your host today and moderator, Jason DeCanio. And before we go any further, I would like to apologize for my behavior yesterday on This Is an Editorial. It was brought to my attention that the editorial that I had give was just a little too harsh. I can understand where some would think that would be, a little bit on the crazy side or a little bit too deep, and I totally understand about that. So I will try to, when talking about something of that nature, try to kind of keep it on a one side level. But I was just as I mentioned, and I was telling my CEO that I have a tendency to do that because it's a passion of mine, and sometimes things are just not. But again, that's like I said it before. That's why I gave a disclaimer yesterday prior to the beginning of the editorial that it could get a little bit raunchy, and it did, and it surprised a few people. Again, my apologies to you. But today's editorial is totally different. I found a great one which we can work with today, and it'll be a really good one today. So that's fine. Today on the program, we have the 25th anniversary of Apple launching iMac. Yes, it's an interesting situation today when back in 1998, Apple launched the iMac Pro and all that good stuff that you guys had, the toys of the generations of before 2000. So that was a big thing in the day. We'll look at the history of the iMac and give you all the great details about this fantastic invention that's still around today with a lot of upgrades, of course. And then we'll look at the 54th anniversary of Woodstock. Yes, folks, back in 1969, your parents, grandparents, your aunts and uncles all went to a place where they heard some fantastic music from fantastic bands and artists, all while half naked or fully naked in the waters up in Woodstock. And we'll look at that fantastic event that happened back in 1969 and give you all of the great stuff as well. And the subtle art of not giving a counterintuitive approach to living a good life. Mark Manson has written a fantastic book, and he has also given his commentary about it as well. We'll look at that book later on in the program. Should be a fascinating, interesting story of why and how he wrote the book. I'm not sure, but the title itself pretty much gives you all you need to know in just a little bit of time. And, of course, today we'll look at what day is today. It's always a national holiday. Yesterday was National Creamsicle Day and Financial Advising Day or Financial Savings Day. So who knows what's going to happen today. We'll take a look at that in a little bit, as well as this is an editorial where where anything can happen at any given moment. That's all for today so far. So let's go ahead and jump in right now. Of course, we've got the headlines, sports, and other important information. And we're going to start off the program today, August 15th, 2023, episode 42, with the headlines. The charges in Fulton County implicate the former president as the head of a sweeping conspiracy to subvert his defeat. It's the fourth indictment in as many months for Trump as he's indicted in Georgia for seeking to overturn the 2020 election. And why doctors pay millions in fees that could be spent on care. Well, the shift to electronic medical payments gave rise to a new kind of healthcare middlemen who now charge 1% to 5% every time insurers pay doctors. Here's how lobbyists convinced regulators this was okay. Latinos are the biggest ethnic group in Texas, but their political power lags behind. And Latinos in Texas have eclipsed non-Hispanic whites as the dominant ethnic group in the state, but the group's political power has yet to catch up. And what happens when thousands of hackers try to break artificial intelligence chatbots. Well, in a Jeopardy-style game at the annual DEF CON hacking convention in Las Vegas, hackers tried to get chatbots from Open Artificial Intelligence, Google, and Meta to create misinformation and share harmful content. Oh, wow. And Maui's wildfires are among the deadliest on record in the U.S., and here are some others. The wildfires that killed at least 99 people in Maui are the deadliest to hit the U.S. in more than a century. Here's a look back at some of the country's most lethal blazes and lessons learned. California grads headed to HBCUs in the South prepare for college under abortion bans. As young adults prepare to leave blue states and head to historically black colleges in states where abortion is banned, they're getting ready to safeguard their reproductive health during college. And in charging Trump, the Atlanta area DA relies on RICO law. Here's what it is. Georgia's racketeer, influenced, and corrupt organizations. That's what RICO is. Statute allows prosecutors to pursue criminal enterprises, and it was based on and is broader than federal RICO law. Fani Willis, the Atlanta DA who's charging Trump, is no stranger to high-stake cases. My career has taught me, no matter the political pressure, just do what's right. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis pledged as she took office. Kansas newspapers say it investigated local police chief prior to newsroom raid. The Marion County Record had been looking into allegations of misconduct against the local police chief just months ago, according to the paper's publisher, raising concerns about their motives. Michigan State students discovered traces of school's first observatory built in 1881. The foundation of Michigan State's first observatory was discovered this summer after construction workers drilling hammock posts hit something unusually hard underground. There's an interesting picture, if you go on NPR.com, of that building back in its days. Matilda Mania is sweeping Australia as its World Cup team breaks viewership records. Call it soccer or football, the Australian women team is on an unprecedented run in the World Cup. And judge sides with young activists in first-of-its-kind climate change trial in Montana. The ruling follows a first-of-its-kind trial in the U.S., adding to a small number of legal decisions around the world that have established a government duty to protect citizens from climate change. Call it stealth mental health. Some care for elders helps more without the label. Fewer than half of older adults who need mental health care or treatment for substance abuse get it, and many therapists don't feel qualified to treat older people, and insurance coverage is spotty too. And finally, the Coast Guard says 4 divers who went missing off the South Carolina coast were found alive. Yes, the divers plunged into the Atlantic Ocean off a pleasure craft more than 60 miles from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It wasn't until after midnight that they were seen again. And those are the latest headlines for today, August 15th, 2023. All right, let's get over to Major League Baseball because there were some actual scores and some really good stuff going on in baseball last night. And you would have never thought that anything was going down on baseball on Monday nights, but you'd be surprised. It actually helped a little bit of the teams get in there. Look at Max Scherzer. Let's get that. He had 11 Ks in 3-0 start with the Rangers. Let's get his article out here. Where is he? Trying to see where he is. No. Why is it going to? Okay. This is what I want. Scherzer's 11 Ks elite in 3-0 start with the Rangers. Okay. Right-hander delivers 7 scoreless frames of one-hit ball in rout of halos. Yes, Max Scherzer is living up to the hype with 3 wins in his first 3 starts for the Rangers. Scherzer pitched the gem on Monday night, allowing one hit with a season-high 11 strikeouts over 7 scoreless innings in the Rangers' 12-0 rout of the Angels in the series opener at Globe Life Field. He's an elite pitcher for a reason, All-Star shortstop Corey Seager said. He takes the ball every 5 days and goes out and proves it. Texas at 71-48 now holds a 3.5 game lead over second-place Houston at 68-52 in the American League West. The Rangers' largest since a 4-game advantage on July 20th. Scherzer, who's 3-0 with a 1.80 ERA in his first 3 outings for Texas, has been everything the Rangers could have envisioned when they acquired him in a deal with the Mets on July 30th. He is just the 3rd starter in club history to win each of his first 3 starts, joining Aaron Seeley, 1998, and Jamie Moyer. He's just so good. He's so well prepared. Manager Bruce Bochy said, he's fun to watch, right? I appreciate the elite players doing their thing, and tonight this was a fun game to watch. Scherzer dominated from the start, striking out the side of the first inning. It happened in unusual fashion with Brandon Drury striking out due to a batter pitch clock violation to end the inning. That simply foreshadowed that kind of night it would be for Scherzer and the Rangers. Scherzer allowed his only hit in the second inning as Mike Moustakas led off with an infield single, and the right-hander worked around that and a 1-out walk, ending the inning by getting Matt Thias to line into a double play. That started a stretch in which Scherzer retired 16 straight batters, including striking out the side in the 6th inning and 2 more in the 7th. He struck out 11 in 4 starts with the Mets last season. Around the 3rd is when I kind of locked it in completely, he said. I was working with catcher Mike Garver and just started to locate everything, located all the pitches. I felt like I had a good rhythm with Garv. We were in good rhythm tonight, the whole night. Martin Perez closed out the game with 2 no-hit innings as the Rangers completed their second one-hitter of the season. Scherzer has been in rhythm since he allowed 3 runs in the first inning of his Rangers debut against the White Sox on August 3rd. Since that first inning, he's yielded 1 run over 19 innings. And he's joined Justin Verlander in Houston, Randy Johnson, and Jimmy Bunning as the only pitchers in the modern era to win each of their first 3 starts with a new franchise while throwing 20-plus innings, allowing 4 or fewer runs, and striking out at least 26. And even though Scherzer is enjoying his fast start thus far, he isn't taking it for granted. Baloney is what I got to say about that. And I'm going to say this before we go on. Max Scherzer, you had a great time in New York. You played fantastically for us, and then you slipped down into the cracks. Why, over the course of the last 2 weeks, after you got traded, do you put a spectacular performance with the Rangers? Why all of a sudden the shell? That's something that we'll talk about today on Brian Snow and Cole Johnson in the morning. As I go on there at 11 o'clock today, I'm going to ask that a very important question because I'm a little ticked off right now as to why we gave away somebody who's basically was playing in a turtle shell. Anyways, let's move on, folks. We've got more to talk about here. Let's go right now to the scores and standings from last night's games. Marlins over the Astros, 5-1 as the Marlins continue their winning ways, but still they are down about 11 games. We'll get to the standings in a little bit, but they upset the world defending champions 5-1. It was the Mets over the Pirates 7-2 as the Mets still are staying out of the cellar, thankfully, but they got a long way to go. If they can start getting on a winning streak, they're already 2 games in already because they beat Atlanta on Sunday and won last night. So it's their first 2-game winning streak. Let's see if they can continue their winning ways as they go up against the Pirates tonight. It was the Braves all over the Yankees, 11-3. Braves just keep winning at 76-42. The Cardinals beat the Athletics 7-5. It was the Rangers again, like swamping the Angels, 12-0. The Royals 7, the Mariners 6, and another upset where the teams in the bottom are actually upsetting the teams in the top. The Rockies come back and beat the D-backs 6-4. It was the Orioles once again hitting up their team beating up on the Padres 4-1 and continuing to dominate the AL East. And then the Rays, well, they're not far behind the Orioles, like maybe 2.5 back. They beat up on the Giants 10-2 to keep pace with the Baltimore Orioles. Let's look at those standings right now and take a look and see where we stand right now going into tonight's games. Baltimore Orioles, once again, 74-45. First place in the AL East, a 3-game winning streak right now, playing the 3-game series against the San Diego Padres in San Diego. So they are proving once again, going on the road, that they have a chance to really do some stuff. You know, their road record is 38-22. Fantastic in 60 games. They have proved 38 wins and 22 losses. Tampa Bay, 72-49, 3 games back in the division, but they're still up on the wild card by 5.5. Toronto at 66-54, 8.5 back. Boston, 62-56, great record on any other given day in any other given division, but in this division, no. 11.5 back, 3 back in the wild card. They still got a chance to get into the playoffs. Yankees, not far behind, 60-59, 14 games back, 5.5 back in the wild card. Twins, still up there on the top, 62-58. No change really in the AL Central. Cleveland, 57-62, 4.5 back, 8.5 in the wild card. Detroit, 53-65, 8 back in the division, 12 back in the wild card. Chicago White Sox, 47-72, 14.5 back and 18.5 back in the wild card. Kansas City, they could win 40 games if they actually win tonight in Seattle. They could go to 40-81. They're 23 games back, and don't count them out. 27 games back if they get on a hot streak and everybody else in the division goes cold. So don't count out those cellar dwellers yet, folks. They still have a chance to make some noise. AL West, Texas Rangers, right now, 71-48, dominating the top of the AL West. They won a game. They're 8-2 in their last. They're playing the LA Angels, and right now, like I said yesterday, they shut them out 12-0. Houston Astros, well, they're just kind of doing their thing. They're 3.5 back of the Rangers, but they're 2 up on the wild card. And they still have and they lost 2 games, so they're still trying to, get to where they're going here. So we'll see what happens. Seattle, 63-55, 7.5 back, 2 games back in the wild card. LA Angels, 59-61, 12.5 back, 7 games back in the wild card. And the lowly Athletics lose another game, 33-86, 38 games back, 32.5 back of the wild card. Could they make a run? It's possible, but you never know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. NL East. Well, Braves do it again. They're on that winning streak. 76-42, 6-4 in their last 10 games. And like I said, they're playing a 3-game series versus the Yankees in Atlanta. Their home record is 38-20, folks. That sparks a big jump right now. And their road record is 38-22. So they are just, folks, they are just on a tear right now. Can't stop these guys. The differential for runs scored and runs against is like 201. Yeah, it's a lot. Philadelphia, 65-54, 11.5 back of Atlanta, but 2.5 on the wild card up. Okay. Miami, 63-57, 14 games back. No dice there. The Mets, 54-65, 22.5 back, 8.5 back in the wild card. They got a chance in the wild card. They still got a chance. Maybe. You got to get on the streak. See what happens. Washington, 53-66, going up against Boston in a 3-game series tonight, but 23.5 back, 9.5 back in the wild card. The Brewers holding their own in the NL Central, 65-54. They're on a 4-game winning streak, 7-3 in their last 10 games. They're up starting a series with the Dodgers tonight in LA. That's going to be an interesting test. Their road record is 32-27, so it's pretty good, but it could be better. I mean, their home record is okay as well, too. 33-27, 32-27. They're just hanging around. But let's see if they can get on a little streak and keep going. They've won 4 in a row already going into tonight's game against the LA Dodgers. So they take a 4-game winning streak going into LA. Chicago Cubs, 61-57, shocking everybody right now, 3.5 back of Milwaukee, 1 game back in the wild card. Cincinnati, 62-58, 3.5 back, 1 game back in the wild card. Pittsburgh, 53-66, 12 games back, 9.5 back in the wild card. St. Louis, tied with Pittsburgh for the bottom of the cellar dweller, 12 games back, 9.5 back in the wild card. And the Dodgers, once again, they are just taking over that NL West, 71-46. They're 9-1 in their last 10 games. They're on an 8-game winning streak, folks. Can't stop these guys. They open up that series against Milwaukee tonight in LA, and their home record shows it, 38-20. So they're looking like they could go in there with that 8-game winning streak. The Brewers have that 4-game winning streak. Who is going to lose tonight? Somebody will, unfortunately. The Giants, 63-56, 9 games back, but they have a half game up on everybody in the wild card. So they right now own the wild card. Wow. That is crazy. Not really, because Philadelphia has a 2.5 game lead on the San Francisco for the wild card. So right now, Philly is looking to be in one of the wild card contenders. San Francisco could be another one. Arizona, 59-60. They're finally under 500. Lost that division lead. Now 13 games back, 3.5 back in the wild card. San Diego, 56-63, 16 games back, 6.5 back in the wild card. And the Rockies, 46-73, playing spoiler because they're playing Arizona right now. They won that game, 26 games back, 16.5 back, going into tonight's series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And remember what Brian Snow and us talked about last week, how the LA Dodgers have continued to just dominate that NL West, and the Arizona Diamondbacks had that lead for such a long time at the beginning of the season, and then they choked. We're going to talk about that again. I'll bring that up over on at the 11 o'clock hour. So look for me at the 11 o'clock hour with Snowman in the morning with Cole Johnson. All right, now we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll look at what day is today and, of course, get ready for our events and everything else when we come back right after this.
Before you slide into that satin, before you slip into that silk, before you put on anything at all, caress. Before you dress, Caress isn't a soap. It's the body bar with bath oil. Caress can't dry your skin the way soap can. Gives you the soft you just can't get from soap. After all, shouldn't your skin be softer than anything that goes next to it? Before you dress, Caress.
If you've got a good trade, chances are you've already got a good job. If you haven't, better get one. Auto mechanic. Now there's a good trade. At Apex Tech, we've got a 6-month training program for auto mechanics. It's thorough because we work you hard. With a professional mechanic working alongside you, you tear down an engine and put it back together again, and do the same with the transmission. Carburetors, fuel injection, computer command control, electrical chassis, alignment, brakes, steering. It's all in your training program. When you complete your training, and we recommend you for a job, you've got your own set of professional tools. Give us a call. Say when you can come in to look over the shops and see what financial assistance towards your training you're entitled to from the government. Now, I can't phone you. You have to take the first step. Call 645-3300. Our switchboard is open now. 645-3300.
Ah, the Nature Valley Granola Bar. Such simple sweetness. Such enjoyable crunch. Once you come to know this wonderfully wholesome taste, you realize a Nature Valley Granola Bar could be the candy bar nature intended.
Oh, you're looking at a broken peanut. All I ever wanted was to get into a Fifth Avenue candy bar so I can be irresistible. But they don't want peanuts. They want peanut butter. Crunchy layer after layer of peanut butter smothered in Hershey's pure milk chocolate. Oh, it'll be a grind, but I'm going to do it. After all, it's Hershey, it's Fifth Avenue, it's everything it's crept up to be. And if they won't have me, I'm going to throw myself to the elephants.
You know, I've heard that being sexy is all in the mind. But I think that it's somewhere else.
Jovan Musk.
Staying sexy is an all-day job. And for some of us, the end of the day is just the beginning.
Jovan Musk, Evening Edition. We help American men stay sexy.
Tired of losing battle after battle in the sky, the Autobots create the ultimate robot jet, Jetfire. But the evil Decepticons have a secret new weapon, Shockwave.
Shockwave will stop them!
Sold separately from Hasbro.
The bakers are here.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Cinnamon and sugar, we're baking up a bunch. We're cinnamon and sugar shakers.
The bakers.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch bakers. We make Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal taste
Like homemade.
part of this nutritious breakfast.
Less sugar than I thought.
Making homemade taste.
I like it.
Into Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
All right, welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live. It's episode 42 on this August 15th, 2023. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday morning. Of course, I am Jason DeCanio, your gracious host and moderator, ready to take you to the next part of our show here. And we're looking at what day is today. I found one thing on the holidays for food, and I'm going to share that with you because normally we try to just get you in the mood with some fantastic treats and sweets and good food and everything. So, there's a lot of other good holidays out there, but this one just strikes me as the one that I'm going to share with you today. It's National Lemon Meringue Pie Day. That's right, and it's celebrated today on August 15th. So get ready to satisfy your sweet tooth. Lemons provide so much flavor to life with all of their culinary applications. You'll never run out of ways to enjoy your lemons, from cake to ice cream, and of course, the all-time favorite, lemonade. But lemon meringue pie is amongst the best lemon desserts. The golden shortbread pastry crust, savory lemon curd filling, and velvety meringue topping will have you floating on the clouds. So for those who want to indulge their sweet tooth, or those who haven't tried it yet, what rock have you been hiding under? Celebrate this tasty dessert with other food lovers today. Lemon meringue pie is made using lemon juice and zest, egg yolks, and sometimes with sugar and starch, depending on the adopted recipe. Peak-shaped meringue is spread on top of the pie before it goes in the oven. Pinpointing the creator of this lemon pie is difficult, with several theories of its origins springing up. Lemon-based pies and puddings and custards have been around since the Middle Ages, according to history. In the 1700s, the innovative addition of putting meringue on top of the pie was adopted. Modern-day lemon meringue pie gained popularity sometime in the 1800s. The first mention of meringue-covered desserts dates back to France. Menanon, a French cookbook author, published a book in 1739 that includes a recipe from pommes meringues, or meringue-covered apple butter or applesauce. And around 1869, a cookbook referenced lemon meringue pie for the first time. Lemon cream pies were the name given to the meringue-covered lemon custard pies of the time. Similar recipes were revealed in the U.S. in the 1800s. One such recipe was meringue-covered apple pie known as apple meringues or apple a la Turque. Elizabeth Goodfellow, the proprietor of a Philadelphia pastry business, is credited with inventing the lemon meringue pie. She was in charge of the first cooking school in the United States. Others say that the lemon meringue pie is a Victorian-era English invention. Lemon Chester pudding is how it's known in certain circles, and is often recognized as one of the delicacies that introduced the world to British sweets. So the timeline started from the 500s to the 1500s. Lemon-based desserts gained popularity, such as pies, puddings, and custards. Go to 1700 AD. This is the timeline. Meringue topping is introduced, and the idea of spreading meringue on top of desserts is introduced in France. Menanon publishes his cookbook in 1739. The renowned French author publishes a cookbook with the recipe for a meringue-covered dessert. 1869, lemon meringue pie appears in cookbooks. Recipes for the lemon meringue pie are found in various cookbooks titled Lemon Cream Pie. And how to celebrate this day? Well, eat one. That's about the best way to do it, right? Eating a lemon meringue pie is the perfect way to commemorate National Lemon Meringue Pie Day. For a more memorable experience, remember to share with family and friends as well as strangers. Yeah. And don't get hung up on your habits. There are several recipes available for you to test. It's time to break out the cookbooks and put on your apron. It's time to try something new and teach someone how to make one. Are you already a pro at making an amazing lemon meringue pies? So why don't you teach someone else how to make it, right? Here are 5 facts about lemons that will blow your mind that you didn't think you already knew. The British Navy, they love lemons. You know, lemons are necessary on board British Navy ships due to their healing powers arising from their high vitamin C concentration. You all heard about scurvy, right? Yeah, that's the whole reason. California, it's a lemon state. Arizona and California are responsible for 95% of lemon crops found in the U.S., and it has antibacterial properties. Mixing lemon juice with hot water creates an effective antibacterial mouthwash. Lemons are fast and consistent growers. Lemon trees produce fruit throughout the year, and each tree can produce up to 600 pounds of lemon annually. That's crazy. And they make excellent cleaning aids. You know, they have a high acidic content, making them effective cleaning aids. Yep. And this is why we love National Lemon Meringue Pie Day. It's delicious. It's a great treat. The pies rank among the favorite desserts anywhere in the world. Is there a better way to celebrate pies than savoring one of its best adaptations? No, we don't think so. And there's loads of recipes. The only thing better than eating a delicious lemon meringue pie is finding a different way of making it the next time. You'll never run out of fresh ways to enjoy this dessert, with options ranging from sugar-free to exotic seasonings. And lemons are good for the body. Yes, lemons have plenty of health benefits, including preventing scurvy. Grated lemon rinds, as well as zest, are also common baking ingredients. And there you have it, folks. National Lemon Meringue Pie Day today on What Day Is Today. All right, let's go now to the first topic of today, which is the 25th anniversary of Apple launching iMac. Well, it has been said that on this day, August 2023, marks the 25th anniversary of the original iMac. The past 2.5 decades have been nothing short of transformative for the iMac lineup. However, there are still a few things we miss a lot about the first iMac, and here we'll look at the past, present, and future of Apple's iMac lineup. Yes, it's been 25 years since the original. I'm going to go ahead and hit the ad blockers on this. Yep. Let me report that. And as we mentioned, oh my God. Oh, come on. Okay, here we go. All right, so Apple introduced its first iMac in 1998, and since then, the product line has evolved significantly to create history. This article from MakeUseOf.com was written by Abhijit N. Arujian, published about 2 hours ago. So this fairly new article. Okay. In 2023, an iMac is no longer the first product people associate with Apple. Other devices like MacBooks, iPads, and iPhones have taken that spot. And most people may not believe that this lineup of all-in-one computers saved Apple from bankruptcy. You know, August 2023 marks the 25th anniversary of the original iMac. So we'll look at this. As we mentioned before, Apple has changed almost every aspect of its iMac lineup since it showed off the original iMac to the world in 1998. Here are some noticeable milestones. In its debut version, the original iMac, formerly called the iMac G3, was an egg-shaped all-in-one PC. The translucent design was available in multiple color options, and Bill Gates even mocked Apple about them. This Power PC variant of the iMac weighed close to 36 pounds, which was lighter than the all-in-one PC standards. In 2002, Apple introduced a new design with the launch of the iMac G4, which eliminated the CRT monitor and utilized an LCD monitor attached to a hemispherical structure that housed all the hardware. Apple's design also reduced the weight of the computer to around 21 pounds. However, the biggest transformation for the iMac lineup occurred in 2004 with the launch of the iMac G5, followed by the Intel iMac in 2006. These devices embraced the slim design that kept all hardware components behind the display, while the iMac lineup has grown larger, with the display increasing from 17 inches to 24 inches, and the core design has remained mostly the same. As of 2023, Intel-based iMacs have become a bad choice as Apple has transitioned to its in-house Apple Silicon processors. The 24-inch M1 iMac is the go-to option for mainstream consumers, businesses, and educational institutions. In fact, it's the only model Apple offers in its iMac lineup. Fortunately, the compact design and competitive performance of the M1 iMacs remains significant reasons to purchase them all over the other all-in-one computers. While we agree that the iMac lineup has come a long way since the original model, it has regressed in some aspects. Therefore, it's not surprising that modern iMacs make us miss a few things about Apple's first iMac. The translucent design, and even though recent iMac upgrades have re-embraced certain aspects, the translucent design was not one of them. The nearly see-through design of the first iMac, which gives us a sneak peek of the internal hardware, is one of the things we miss the most. Considering how efficient Apple has become in arranging the components in its devices, a new iMac with such a see-through design would be an incredible sight. Sure, the M1 iMac offers more color options than the unibody or Retina iMac lineups. However, we would still love to see the fruit-themed colors of the original iMac, namely tangerine, lime, etc. And going back to the fruit-themed color coding is a retro approach that we would love to see Apple take. We believe this applies to many Apple products, the versatile connectivity. But the first iMac models came with those options. The current model offers only a few USB Type-C ports unless you are ready to shell out some extra money. It would be nice to see this computer built for everyone have enough ports for all kinds of users. The future of the iMac lineup, well, what lies ahead? Despite going through diverse upgrades over 25 years, iMacs have remained one of the best-selling Macs from Apple. And if anything, the recent Apple Silicon transition has brought more reasons to get one of these colorful desktops Macs. Considering how popular and iconic the iMac lineup has become, we don't think Apple would completely give up on the product. As far as speculations go, the iMac lineup is expected to become more powerful, but it did not get an M2 upgrade. But industry experts believe it would be one of the first to get the M3 Apple Silicon chip, and Apple could also revive the iMac Pro line with high-end Apple Silicon chips such as the M2 Ultra. And regardless of these upgrades, we hope that Apple keeps iMacs a somewhat affordable option and one of the best Mac desktops available. The last thing we want to see is the company skyrocketing the prices for its much-loved all-in-one desktop. The 25-year success story of Apple's popular iMac, the line, illustrates how constant upgrades and innovations can keep a product beloved by loyal consumers. However, even if it's the best desktop Apple currently sells, there's still plenty of room for improvement, and we hope Apple implements the right changes in the next iteration of the iMac. About the author, Abhijit Arjian, he's a Mac writer and at Make Use Of. He has a degree in English literature and has been covering tech and digital lifestyle for more than 10 years, and he's also interested in language and culture. Now, there were some takeaways from this, and we will continue on. So what we're going to do is we have about 15 minutes left on this article. So what we'll do, we'll take a commercial break and be right back with more of the 25th anniversary of Apple launching iMac and give you some ways that you can get more demand that can meet today's high-end users. We'll be right back.
Hey, Lego my ego. Lego my ego, Jessica.
Light golden Eggo waffles taste so good, it's not always easy to get your hands on one. So sometimes you have to improvise.
Lego my ego, please.
Eggo waffles from Kellogg's.
Looking for whole wheat total?
Oh, Special K.
Hope you're hungry, because you'll need almost 3 boxes of Special K to equal the vitamin and mineral nutrition in just 1 box of total.
Maybe grape nuts.
You'll have to put away 4 boxes.
Okay. Shredded wheat.
12 boxes. Total, 1 bowl, 100%. No other cereal has more vitamin and mineral nutrition.
I think I'll have total, sweetheart. Total.
If it's whole wheat total, it's total nutrition.
California raisins from the California vineyards.
Don't you know I heard it through the grapevine?
Sounds great, doesn't it?
Mama keeps yellow dandelion. Mama keeps white, bright like the sunshine. Mama keeps blue, twinkling like a rise dew. Mama's got the magic of Clorox too.
Clorox 2 All-Fabric Bleach does more than brighten whites. It removes stains and amplifies bright colors, brings colors back to life.
Mama keeps me looking like I'm brand new. Mama's got the magic. Mama's got the magic of Clorox 2.
A favorite French restaurant of mine does a filet of fish au gratin that's pure heaven. A favorite Chinese restaurant serves a sweet and sour chicken that I could eat every night. And a favorite Italian restaurant does lasagna with veal tomato sauce and ricotta molto delicioso. They're all right here in my own home. My chef is Weight Watchers. I have a choice of 25 delicious Weight Watchers dishes. I eat at home as if I were out without needing a fat dress again.
Keebler presents the appealing taste of baked potato skins in a crunchy chip.
Potato skins got baked potato appeal because they're made with potatoes and skins that are real.
The Keebler Elves make potato skin snack chips with real potatoes and skins.
Cheddar cheese and bacon, sour cream and chives, tasty baked potato.
And they finally got barbecue flavor too.
They're made with potatoes and skins that are real. Potato skins from Keebler, baked potato appeal.
All right, welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live, episode 42, here on this August 15th, 2023. It is a Tuesday morning, and good morning to all of you. Will Graff published this article 2 days ago from the same website, from MakeUseOf.com, And his article goes, 4 ways Apple could improve its iMac lineup. And they need a better iMac in its desktop lineup that caters to high-end consumers. And here's how the company can achieve that. First thing they can do is offer a high-end Apple Silicon chip. You know, Apple made an interesting change with the 2023 Mac Mini, allowing customers to opt for a model with the M2 Pro chip, usually reserved for higher-end MacBook Pro models. This was a unique move from Apple because the Mac Mini is the entry-level desktop it offers, mainly due to its $599 starting price and specifications. Well, Apple could pack a similar high-end Apple Silicon chip in the 24-inch iMac for users who want the all-in-one design but demand more power for their workflows. The M2 Pro chip would not only make the 24-inch iMac a lot more powerful performance-wise, but also let users connect an iMac to 2 external displays, since the standard M1 and M2 chips are limited to supporting only one. And lastly, the machine could support up to 32 gigs of unified memory, compared to a maximum of 24 gigs with the M2 chip. Having more memory on board would allow iMac owners to have more applications open while maintaining optimal performance. It certainly would be great to see an even more powerful chip in the 24-inch iMac, similar to what the Mac Mini offers. Secondly, replace the white bezels. Yes, while the impossibly thin design of the iMac is undoubtedly impressive, it came with 2 controversial design choices: the continuation of the front chin and the white bezels. Apple has black bezels on all of its other devices, which is generally considered less distracting to look at when you're using the screen. The black bezels also blend into the display since the screen is black when turned off. The white bezels on the 24-inch iMac certainly stand out as a flaw in an otherwise stunning design. So a higher-end iMac model with black bezels would be a perfect addition to Apple's lineup. Thirdly, introduce a larger version. You know, when Apple introduced the Mac Studio and Studio Display in 2022, it discontinued the 27-inch iMac, leaving the 24-inch iMac as the only all-in-one computer in Apple's lineup. Its smaller display size can feel constraining, primarily if you are used to larger screens and utilize one for work. In addition, some users still want a larger all-in-one computer from Apple. And we think there's a gap in Apple's desktop lineup for people who want a desktop with a large screen but don't want to spend the money on a Mac Studio and an external display. In fact, the price tag is one of the reasons why the Mac Studio and Studio Display don't replace the 27-inch iMac. And while the M1 iMac has a bigger display than the Intel model it replaced, users who love the 27-inch iMac would undoubtedly appreciate a larger model. And finally, offer some more ports. Yes, Apple's other desktops, namely the Mac Mini, Mac Studio, and Mac Pro, offer almost all the ports one would need. Unfortunately, that's not the case with the 24-inch iMac. The base model M1 iMac, which we recommend avoiding, packs just 2 USB-C ports and a headphone jack. You can get 2 more USB-C ports and a Gigabyte Ethernet port if you pay an additional $200 for the mid-tier model. So if you want to connect an SD card or an external monitor via HDMI, you'll have to rely on an adapter, which is disappointing for a desktop user. However, it's possible that adding more ports could mean that the iMac would need to feature a thicker design, as some ports like a USB-A are longer than the iMac itself. And a high-end iMac is what Apple's lineup needs. And even though the M1 iMac is an excellent desktop for the average user, there are some changes that Apple could implement to make it more appealing to high-end consumers and content creators. Hopefully, we see at least some of these changes in the next iteration of the iMac. In the meantime, if you're looking for an Apple desktop that offers more performance than the 24-inch, consider checking out the Mac Studio or the M2 Pro Mac Mini. Will Graff, staff writer, since he was young, he has been passionate about technology and has over a decade of experience with Apple Samsung and Google products. The depth of his knowledge is the result of years of research and experience with tech. And there you have it, friends. Some looks at some great stuff from the Apple iMac series over the course of 25 years. It's been a long time, and they've come a long way, and they can only get better like a good quality wine. Now, let's take a look at the 54th anniversary of Woodstock. Oh, my goodness. Yes, 54 years ago today, Woodstock took place. And boy, oh boy. Oh, my goodness. The Woodstock concert. Yes. Yes. Piece of Woodstock presents 54th anniversary tribute. Yes. A 90-minute music and visuals show that on all-in-one today. Yes. There's actually a Piece of Woodstock presents 54th anniversary tribute to Woodstock. That's happening August 18th, which is in 3 days, at the Athens Theater, 124 North Florida Avenue in DeLand, from 7:30 to 9:30. Tickets go from $35, general $30, and you get the $4 processing fee and taxes, not including in the price above. This Piece of Woodstock is a 90-minute music and visuals show that's an in-the-moment tribute to the celebrated Woodstock Music and Art Fair, the legendary 3-day concert that took place in August of 1969. 54 years ago, an audience of more than 400,000 traveled to Max Yasgar's dairy farm in upstate New York to listen to musical acts ranging from Richie Havens and Janis Joplin to Sly and the Family Stone, Jefferson Airplane, and the event's breakout group, and Santana. Woodstock changed everything. So this Piece of Woodstock returns you to the event that defined the 60s, from the hippie vibe and protest songs to the flowers in their hair attendees clothed in bell-bottoms and tie-dye. Piece of Woodstock is a note-perfect tribute to one of popular music's most monumental moments. So, yeah, if you can get out to the land this weekend on the 18th, this Friday at 7:30, you can get tickets. It's about $35, but it'll give you a look back at Woodstock back in the days. Now, we're going to actually take a look at the 54th anniversary of Woodstock. So let's go to Wikipedia. Definitely we can get here. Woodstock. You know, as we know, Woodstock Music and Art Fair, commonly referred to as Woodstock, musical festival held during August 15th to the 18th, 1969, on Max Yasgur's dairy farm in Bethel, New York, 40 miles southwest of the town of Woodstock. Billed as an Aquarian exposition, 3 days of peace and music, and alternatively referred to as the Woodstock Rock Festival, it attracted more than 400,000 attendees. 32 acts performed outdoors despite sporadic rain, and it was one of the largest musical festivals in history. The festival has become widely regarded as a pivotal moment in popular music history, as well as a defining event for the counterculture generation. The event's significance was reinforced by a 1970 documentary film, an accompanying soundtrack album, and a song written by Joni Mitchell that became a major hit for both Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, and Matthews Southern Comfort. Musical events bearing the Woodstock name were planned for anniversaries, which included the 10th, 20th, 25th, 30th, 40th, and 50th. But in 2004, Rolling Stone magazine listed it as number 19 of the 50 moments that changed the history of rock and roll. In 2017, the festival site became listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Woodstock was initiated through the efforts of Michael Lang, Artie Kornfeld, Joel Rosenman, and John P. Roberts. Now, Roberts and Rosenman financed the project. Lang had some experience as a promoter, having co-organized the Miami Pop Festival on the East Coast the previous year. where an estimated 25,000 people attended the two-day event. Early in 1969, Roberts and Rosenman were New York City entrepreneurs in the process of building Media Sound, a recording studio complex in Manhattan. Lang and Kornfeld's lawyer, Miles Laurie, who had done legal work on the Media Sound project, suggested that they contact Roberts and Rosenman about financing a similar but much smaller studio Kornfeld and Lang hoped to build in Woodstock, New York. Unpersuaded by this studio in the woods approach or proposal, Roberts and Rosenman counter-proposed a concert featuring the kind of artists known to frequent the Woodstock area, such as Bob Dylan and the band. Kornfeld and Lang agreed to the new plan, and Woodstock Ventures was formed in January of 1969. The company offices were located in an oddly decorated floor of 47 West 57th Street in Manhattan. But Cohen and his design group, Curtain Call Productions, oversaw the psychedelic transformation of the office. From the start, there were differences in approach among the four. Roberts was disciplined and knew what was needed for the venture to succeed, while the laid-back Lang saw Woodstock as a new, relaxed way of bringing entrepreneurs together. And when Lang was unable to find a site for the concert, Roberts and Rosenman, growing increasingly concerned, took to the road and eventually came up with the venue. Similar differences about financial discipline made Roberts and Rosenman wonder whether to pull the plug or to continue pumping money into the project. In April of 1969, Creedence Clearwater Revival became the first act to sign a contract for the event, agreeing to play for $10,000. That's the equivalent to $80,000 in 2022. The promoters had experienced difficult landing big-name groups until Creedence committed to play. Now, Creedence drummer Doug Clifford later commented, "Once Creedence signed, everyone else jumped in line and all the other big acts came on. Given their 12:30 a.m. start time and omission from the Woodstock film at Creedence frontman John Fogerty's insistence, Creedence members have experienced bitterness over their experiences regarding the festival. Woodstock was conceived as a profit-making venture, and it became a free concert when circumstances prevented the organizers from installing fences and ticket booths before opening day. Tickets for the three-day event cost $18 in advance, $24 at the gate. That's about the equivalent to about $140 and $190 today. The sales were limited to record stores in the greater New York City area or by mail via a post office box at the Radio City Station post office located in Midtown Manhattan. Around 186,000 advance tickets were sold, and the organizers had anticipated approximately 50,000 festival goers would turn up. Well, the original venue plan was for the festival to take place in the town of Woodstock, possibly near the proposed recording studio site owned by Alexander Tapuz. After local residents quickly rejected that idea, Lang and Kornfeld thought they had found another possible location at the Winston Farm in Saugerets, New York. Wow. Saugerets, New York. Saugerties. Wow, what a name. Saugerties, New York. Never heard of the place. Got to look that up. But they had misunderstood, as the landowner's attorney made clear in a brief meeting with Roberts and Rosenman. Growing alarmed at the lack of progress, Roberts and Rosenman took over the search for a venue and discovered the 300-acre Mills Industrial Park in the town of Wallkill, New York, which Woodstock Ventures leased for $10,000, equivalent of $80,000 today, in the spring of '69. Town officials were assured that no more than 50,000 would attend. Town residents immediately opposed the project, and in early July, the town board passed a law requiring a permit for any gathering over 5,000 people. The conditions upon which a permit would be issued made it impossible for the promoters to continue construction at the Wallkill site. Reports of the ban, however, turned out to be publicly bonanza for the festival. In his 2007 book, Taking Woodstock, Elliot Tipper relates that he offered to host the event on his 15-acre motel grounds and had a permit for such an event. He claims to have introduced the promoters to dairy farmer Max Yasgur. Lang, however, disputes Tipper's account and says that Tipper introduced him to a realtor who drove him to Yasgur's farm without Tipper. Sam Yasgur, Max's son, agrees with Lang's account. Yasgur's land formed a natural bowl sloping down to Filippini Pond on the land's north side. The stage would be set up at the bottom of the hill, with Filippini Pond forming a backdrop. The pond became a popular skinny dipping destination. Filippini was the only landowner who refused to sign a lease for the use of his property. The organizers told Bethel authorities they expected no more than 50,000 people. We'll be right back.
Before you slide into that satin, before you slip into that silk, before you put on anything at all, caress. Before you dress, Caress isn't a soap. It's the body bar with bath oil. Caress can't dry your skin the way soap can. Gives you the soft you just can't get from soap. After all, shouldn't your skin be softer than anything that goes next to it? Before you dress, Caress.
If you've got a good trade, chances are you've already got a good job. If you haven't, better get one. Auto mechanic. Now there's a good trade. At Apex Tech, we've got a 6-month training program for auto mechanics. It's thorough because we work you hard. With a professional mechanic working alongside you, you tear down an engine and put it back together again, and do the same with the transmission. Carburetors, fuel injection, computer command control, electrical chassis, alignment, brakes, steering. It's all in your training program. When you complete your training, and we recommend you for a job, you've got your own set of professional tools. Give us a call. Say when you can come in to look over the shops and see what financial assistance toward your training you're entitled to from the government. Now, I can't phone you. You have to take the first step. Call 645-3300. Our switchboard is open now. 645-3300.
Ah, the Nature Valley Granola Bar. Such simple sweetness. Such enjoyable crunch. Once you come to know this wonderfully wholesome taste, you realize a Nature Valley Granola Bar could be the candy bar nature intended.
Oh, you're looking at a broken peanut. All I ever wanted was to get into a Fifth Avenue candy bar so I can be irresistible. But they don't want peanuts. They want peanut butter. Crunchy layer after layer of peanut butter smothered in Hershey's pure milk chocolate. Oh, it'll be a grind, but I'm going to do it. After all, it's Hershey. It's Fifth Avenue. It's everything it's cracked up to be. And if they won't have me, I'm going to throw myself to the elephants.
And I've heard that being sexy is all in the mind. But I think that it's somewhere else.
Jovan Musk.
Staying sexy is an all-day job. And for some of us, the end of the day is just the beginning.
Jovan Musk, Evening Edition. We help American men stay sexy.
Tired of losing battle after battle in the sky, the Autobots create the ultimate robot jet, Jetfire. But the evil Decepticons have a secret new weapon, Shockwave.
Shockwave will stop them!
Sold separately from Hasbro.
The bakers are here.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Cinnamon and sugar, we're baking up a bunch. We're Cinnamon and Sugar Shakers.
The bakers.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch Bakers. We make Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal taste,
Like homemade.
part of this nutritious breakfast.
Less sugar than I thought.
Making homemade taste
I like it.
into Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live, episode 42. I'm Jason Icanio, continuing our story on the 54th anniversary of Woodstock. So let's pick up where we left off. You know, despite resident opposition and signs proclaiming "Buy No Milk, Stop Max's Hippie Music Festival," Bethel Town Attorney Frederick W.V. Schatt, Building Inspector Donald Clark, and Town Supervisor Daniel Amatucci approved the festival permits. And nonetheless, the Bethel Town Board refused to issue the permits formally. Clark was ordered to post stop work orders. Rosenman recalls meeting Don Clark and discussing with him how unethical it was for him to withhold permits which had already been authorized and which he had in his pocket. At the end of the meeting, Inspector Clark gave him the permits. The stop work order was lifted, and the festival could proceed pending backing by the Department of Health and Agriculture and removal of all structures by September 1st, 1969. The late change in venue did not give the festival organizers enough time to prepare. At a meeting 3 days before the event, Rosenman was asked by the construction foreman to choose between A, completing the fencing and ticket booths, without which Roberts and Rosenman would be facing almost certain bankruptcy after the festival, or B, trying to complete the stage, without which it would be a weekend of 500,000 concert goers with no concert to hold their attention. The next morning on Wednesday, it became clear that option A had disappeared. And overnight, 50,000 early birds had arrived and had planted themselves in front of the half-finished stage. For the rest of the weekend, concert goers simply walked onto the site with or without tickets, and though the festival left Roberts and Rosenman close to financial ruin, their ownership of the firm and recording rights turned their finances around when the Academy Award-winning documentary film Woodstock was released in March of 1970. The influx of attendees to the Royal Concert site in Bethel created a massive traffic jam. The town of Bethel did not enforce its codes, fearing chaos as the crowd flowed to the site. Eventually, radio and television descriptions of the traffic jams discouraged people from setting off to the festival. Ario Guthrie made an announcement that was included in the film saying that the New York State Thruway was closed, and although the director of the Woodstock Museum said that this closure never occurred. To add to the problems and difficulty in dealing with the large crowds, recent rains had caused muddy roads and fields. The facilities were not equipped to provide sanitation or first aid for the number of people attending. Hundreds of thousands found themselves in a struggle against bad weather, food shortages, and poor sanitation. On the morning of Sunday, August 17th, New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller called festival organizer John P. Roberts and told him that he was thinking of ordering 10,000 National Guard troops to the festival. But Roberts persuaded him not to. Sullivan County declared a state of emergency, and during the festival, personnel from nearby Stewart Air Force Base helped ensure order and airlifted performers in and out of the concert site. Jimi Hendrix was the last to perform at the festival, taking the stage at 8:30 Monday morning due to delays caused by the rain. By that point, the audience had fallen to about 30,000 from its estimated peak of 450,000. Many of them left during Hendrix's performance, having waited to simply catch a glimpse of him. Hendrix and his new band Gypsy Sun and Rainbows were introduced as The Experience. But he corrected this and added, "You could call us a band of gypsies." They performed a 2-hour set, including his psychedelic rendition of the national anthem. The song became part of the 60s zeitgeist, and it was captured in the Woodstock film. The festival was remarkably peaceful given the number of people and the conditions involved, although there were 3 recorded fatalities, 2 drug overdoses, and another caused when a tractor ran over a 17-year-old sleeping in a nearby hayfield. There were births claimed to have occurred among Woodstock attendees, one in a car caught in traffic and another in a hospital after an airlift by helicopter. Extensive research by a book author could not verify any birth claims, except that a potential attendee never arrived. There were a number of miscarriages. Sources range from 4 to 8 over the course of the 3 days, and there were 742 drug overdoses. Max Yasgur owned the site of the event, and he spoke of how nearly 500,000 people spent the 3 days with music and peace on their minds. He stated, "If we join them, we can turn those adversities that are the problems of America today into a hope for a brighter and more peaceful future." And you pretty much know what happened at Woodstock. Richie Havens, well, he basically was the first one on set from 5:07 p.m. to 5:54 p.m. 32 acts performed over the course of the 4 days. But he was moved up to the opening performance slot after Sweetwater were stopped by police en route to the festival, and other artists were delayed on the freeway. And then Sweetwater was supposed to play, Richie Havens was supposed to play at 7:30, but then he got bumped. So really, it didn't, yeah. Swami Sachidananda gave the opening speech, the invocation for the festival at 7:10. Wow. Amazing. And the list of artists goes on that you probably recognize, like Janis Joplin, CCR, Grateful Dead, the Incredible String Band, John Sebastian, Sly and the Family Stone, The Who, Jefferson Airplane, now Jefferson Starship, Joe Cocker and the Grease Band, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Paul Butterfield Blues Band, Sha-Na Na, and then wrapped up on Sunday, August 17th to Monday, August 18th with Jimi Hendrix, the Gypsy Sun and the Rainbows from 9 o'clock in the morning till 11:10 a.m. And they performed to a last day crowd of about 200,000 people. Wow. And where were the Beatles? Never to be found. That's right, folks. The Beatles never came to Woodstock, and there's a reason. They were recording Abbey Road at the time, and then on their precipice of breaking up, promoter Michael Lang, realizing the Beatles weren't an option, they invited John Lennon and the Plastic Ono Band, but due to Lennon's position on Vietnam and 1968 drug bust in England, Richard Nixon and the U.S. government reportedly did not want him in the country. Apple Corps sent a letter to the promoters offering the Plastic Ono Band, but the letter arrived as promoters were losing the location in Wallkill, so distractions did not allow arrangements to be finalized. And that's why the Beatles declined, yet they were invited, but lots of controversy in why they never came to Woodstock. Shame, maybe, but maybe to save their scrawny little behinds of all the stuff that was going on between 1968 and 1969. You know it, and we know it, and that's all that matters. But here we are 54 years later telling you how it all got started right here on DMS 3000 News Live. The subtle art of not giving, a counterintuitive approach to living a good life. Yes, we're up to that part of the story where the book of the day is today, and Mark Manson, who wrote the book, gives a interesting commentary about what he wrote. So we're going to look at The Subtle Art of Not Giving, written by Mark Manson and filed under Happiness, Motivation, and Personal Values. This is from his actual website, markmanson.net. And he goes on to write, and he says, "In my life, I have given a F about many people and many things. I have also not given a F about many people and many things. And those I have not given have made all the difference. People often say the key to confidence and success in life is simply to not give one, you know? Indeed, we often refer to the strongest, most admirable people we know in terms of their lack of of F's given. Like, oh, look at Susie working weekends again. She doesn't give a, you know. Or did you hear that Tom called the company president an asshole and still got a raise anyways? Holy shit, that dude does not give a F. Or Jason got caught up and ended his date with Cindy after 20 minutes. He said he wasn't going to listen to her bullshit anymore. Man, that guy does not give a beep, you know. Chances are you know somebody in your life who at one time or another did not give a F and went on to accomplish amazing feats. Perhaps there was a time in your life when you simply did not give an F and excelled to some extraordinary heights. I know for myself, quitting my day job in finance after only 6 weeks and telling my boss that I was going to start selling dating advice online ranks pretty high up there in my own didn't give an F Hall of Shame or Hall of Fame. Same with deciding to sell most of my possessions and move to South America. F's given? None. Just went and did it. Now, while we're not giving an F may seem simple on the surface, it's a whole new bag of burritos under the hood. I don't even know what that sentence means, but I don't give an F. A bag of burritos sounds awesome, so let's just go with it. The point of it is, most of us struggle throughout our lives by giving too many F's in situations where F's do not deserve to be given. We give an F about the rude gas station attendant who gave us too many nickels. We give an F when a show we liked was canceled on TV. We give an F when our coworkers don't bother asking us about our awesome weekend. We give an F when it's raining and we were supposed to go jogging in the morning. F's given everywhere, strewn about like seeds in mother effing springtime. And for what purpose? For what reason? Convenience? Easy comforts? A pat on the effing back, maybe? This is the problem, my friend. Because when we give too many F's, when we choose to give an F about everything, then we feel as though we are perpetually entitled to feel comfortable and happy at all times. That's when life F's us. Indeed, the ability to reserve our F's for only the most F-worthy of situations would surely make life a hell of a lot easier. Failure would be less terrifying. Rejection, less painful. Unpleasant necessities more pleasant, and the unsavory shit sandwiches a little bit more savory. I mean, if we could only give a few less F's or a few more consciously directed F's, then life would feel pretty effing easy. And what we don't realize is that there's a fine art of non-F giving. People aren't just born not giving an F. In fact, we're born giving away too many F's. Ever watch a kid cry his eyes out because his hat is the wrong shade of blue? Exactly. F that kid. Developing the ability to control and manage the F's you give is the essence of strength and integrity. We must craft and hone our lack of F fuckery over the course of years and decades. I know I'm going to be wrapped in the mouth for this one. Like a fine wine, our F's must age into a fine vintage, only uncorked and given on the most special effing occasions. And this may sound easy, but it's not. Most of us, most of the time, get sucked in by life's mean trivialities, steamrolled by its unimportant dramas. We live and die by the side notes and distractions and vicissitudes that suck the F's out of us like Sasha Grey in the middle of a gangbang. And there's no way to live, man. So stop effing around. Get your S together and here, allow me to effing show you. Number one, not giving an F does not mean being indifferent. It means being comfortable with being different. When most people envision giving no F's whatsoever, they envision a kind of perfect and serene indifference to everything, a calm that weathers all storms. And by the way, this show is brought to you today by the letter F. for all you people want to know, that is it, you know? This is misguided. There's absolutely nothing admirable or confident about indifference. People who are indifferent are lame and scared. They're couch potatoes and internet trolls. In fact, indifferent people often attempt to be indifferent because in reality, they actually give too many Fs. They are afraid of the world and the repercussions of their own choices. Therefore, they make none. They hide in a gray, emotionless pit of their own making, self-absorbed and self-pitied, perpetually distracting themselves from this unfortunate thing, demanding their time and energy called life. My mother was recently screwed out of a large chunk of money by a close friend of hers. Had I been indifferent, I would have shrugged my shoulders, sipped some mocha, and downloaded another season of The Wire. Sorry, Mom. But instead, I was indignant. I was pissed off. I said, no, screw that, Mom. We're going to lawyer the F up and go after this asshole. Why? Because I don't give an F. I will ruin this guy's life if I have to. This is coming from him, folks. I'm just reading off what he's talking about. And this illustrates the first sublimity about not giving an F. When we say, damn, watch out, Mark Manson just don't give an F, we don't mean that Mark Manson doesn't care about anything. On the contrary, what we mean is that Mark Manson doesn't care about adversity in the face of his goals, and he doesn't care about pissing some people off to do what he feels is right or important or noble. What we mean is that Mark Manson is the type of guy who would write about himself in third person and use the word F in an article 127 different times just because he thought it was the right thing to do. He just doesn't give an F. And this is what is so admirable. No, not me, dumbass. The overcoming adversity stuff. The staring failure in the face and shoving your middle finger back at it. The people who don't give an F about adversity or failure or embarrassing themselves or shitting the bed a few times. The people who just laugh and then do it anyway because they know it's right. They know it's more important than them and their own feelings and their own pride and their own needs. They say F it, not to everything in life, but rather they say F it to everything unimportant in life. They reserve their Fs for what truly effing matters. Friends, family, purpose, burritos, and an occasional lawsuit or two. And because of that, because they reserve their Fs for only the big things, the important things, people give a F about them in return. You know. And here's the second one. To not give an F about adversity, you must give an F about something more important than adversity. Eric Hoffer once wrote, a man is likely to mind his own business when it is worth minding. When it is not, he takes his mind off his own meaningless affairs by minding other people's business. The problem with people who hand out Fs like ice cream at a goddamn summer camp is that they don't have anything more F-worthy to dedicate their Fs to. Think for a second. You're at a grocery store, and there's an elderly lady screaming at the cashier, berating him for not accepting her 30-cent coupon. Why does the lady give an F? It's just 30 cents. Well, I'll tell you why. That old lady probably doesn't have anything better to do with her days than to sit at home cutting out coupons all morning. She's old and lonely. Her kids are dickheads and never fit. She hasn't had sex in over 30 years. Her pension is on its last legs, and she's probably going to die in a diaper thinking she's in Candyland. She can't fart without extreme lower back pain, and she can't even watch TV for more than 15 minutes without falling asleep or forgetting the main plot line. Oh, my goodness. So she snips coupons. I mean, that's all she's got. It's her and her damn coupons all day, every day. It's all she can give an F about because there's nothing else to give an F about. And so when that pimply-faced 17-year-old cashier refuses to accept one of them, when he defends his cash register's purity the way knights used to defend maidens' virginities, you can damn well bet Granny is going to erupt and verbally Hulk smash his effing face in. 80 years of F's will rain down all at once like a fiery hailstorm of back in my day, and people used to show more respect stories, boring the world around her to tears in her creaking and wobbling voice. And if you find yourself consistently giving too many F's about trivial shit that bothers you, your ex-girlfriend's new Facebook picture, and how quickly the batteries die in the TV remote, missing out on yet another 2-for-1 sale on hand sanitizer, chances are you don't have much going on in your life to give a legitimate F about. And that's your real problem, not the hand sanitizer. In our life, our F's must be spent on something. There really is no such thing as not giving an F. The question is simply how we each choose to allot our F's. You only get a limited number of F's to give over your lifetime, so you must spend them with care. And as my father used to say, F's don't go on trees, Mark. Okay, he never actually said that, but F it. Pretend like he did. The point is that F's have to be earned and then invested wisely. F's are cultivated like a beautiful effing garden where if you F shit up and the F's get F'd, then you've effing F'd your F's. Oh my God, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Lego my ego. Lego my ego, Jessica.
Light golden Eggo waffles taste so good, it's not always easy to get your hands on one. So sometimes you have to improvise.
Lego my ego, please.
Eggo waffles from Kellogg's.
Looking for whole wheat total?
Oh, Special K.
Hope you're hungry, because you'll need almost 3 boxes of Special K to equal the vitamin and mineral nutrition in just 1 box of total.
Maybe grape nuts.
You'll have to put away 4 boxes.
Okay. Shredded wheat.
12 boxes. Total, 1 bowl, 100%. No other cereal has more vitamin and mineral nutrition.
I think I'll have Total, sweetheart. Total.
If it's whole wheat total, it's total nutrition.
California raisins from the California vineyards.
Don't you know I heard it through the grapevine?
Sounds great, doesn't it?
Mama keeps yellow dandelion. Mama keeps white, bright like the sunshine. Mama keeps blue, twinkling like a rise dew. Mama's got the magic of Clorox too.
Clorox 2 all-fabric bleach does more than brighten whites. It removes stains and amplifies bright colors, brings colors back to life.
Mama keeps me looking like I'm brand new. Mama's got the magic. Mama's got the magic of Clorox 2.
A favorite French restaurant of mine does a filet of fish au gratin that's pure heaven. A favorite Chinese restaurant serves a sweet and sour chicken that I could eat every night. And a favorite Italian restaurant does lasagna with veal tomato sauce and ricotta molto delicioso. They're all right here in my own home. My chef is Weight Watchers. I have a choice of 25 delicious Weight Watchers dishes. I eat at home as if I were out without needing a fat dress again.
Keebler presents the appealing taste of baked potato skins in a crunchy chip.
Potato skins got baked potato appeal, because they're made with potatoes and skins that are real.
The Keebler elves make potato skin snack chips with real potatoes and skins.
Cheddar cheese and bacon, sour cream and chives, tasty baked potato.
And they finally they got barbecue flavor too.
They're made with potatoes and skins that are real. Potato skins for peeler. Baked potato appeal.
Welcome back to DMS 3000 News Live. It's episode 42 on this Tuesday, August 15, 2023. And we were just talking about the book that the book of the day about the subtle art of not giving an F, the counterintuitive approach to living a good life. And I got caught up in the article so much that I had to take a break. Yeah. I don't know if we want to continue going on with all the F's that I have to kind of bleep out. You get the idea about the book. Go check it out. It's a really interesting book. It's funny. It's got a lot of great information for you. Mark Manson, fantastic writer. I think in his own experiences, why he wrote the book, what we just explained before we went to commercial, I had to bleep out all the F's pretty much in the commentary in order to make it make sense for you. So in this case, you can go to the website, which we will have for you. It's markmanson.net/notgivinganaF. That's pretty much it. And he has some other great advice for you. And it's really, it's really funny the way he just comes out and speaks his own mind. So if you're really looking for an interesting book to read over this summertime, and you're over, of course, the age of 18 or 21, and you're an adult that can manage these counterintuitive approaches to living a good life and not giving an F, well, you might be able to actually take some good out of this book. So, but there is an important lesson to be learned here. When you don't worry about things, and we were talking about this on editorials a while back about internet trolls and all that other stuff. When you don't worry about things, folks, and you don't let it get to your head, you actually can move forward in life. You actually have a better chance of accomplishing what you want in this world. Okay? Now, the editorial. Now, before we go on, as I mentioned at the top of the show, that yesterday my behavior on the show was a little bit rancid. I apologize for that. But I had to get across what I had to say. So I was kind of a little bit forewarned about the things, so I will kind of like tone it down. Today's editorial, let me pull it up here because it's a good one. I actually found an interesting editorial about social media. So we're going to talk about that. So let's go ahead and oops. All right, so let's get rid of that because I am to the point where I can't read any more of his commentary. It's great commentary, folks. You just kind of go ahead and trust me when I say when he talks about it. Yeah, but let's take a look about today's commentary, today's editorial, the evils of social media. Yes, this is from Medium.com. It's from Purva Mital. He's a writer, and I guess he just kind of gave his editorial about this. This was from September 19th, 2021, so just about 2 years ago. And so let's go ahead and read this editorial right now. Just like the two sides of a coin, the advent of social networking sites has got its own merits and demerits. You can find two groups in the society with two different views on social media. One group extolling the virtue of faster communication with just one tap on smartphones, tablets, and computers, while others vilifying it for the reported negative effects it has on our overall existence. We can say that the whole world is at our fingertips. We can easily make out what is our friend doing right then through video and voice calls, and we can easily access any part of the world just at the comfort of our homes. And perhaps that's what is keeping us alive currently in these shutdown times. Social media, or rather internet, has made education and talents reach people across states and countries. A teacher is able to provide his or her services online and advertise them too through Facebook, Instagram, etc., to reach more and more aspirants. There's an uprise in young talents in the world who become inspiration for others by building new applications that earn them name and fame as these miraculous apps solve some very basic problems and indirectly help others live a decent life. We can get whatever we want at just one click, may it be food, medicines, or other commodities. Not only app, but short, inspiring videos on old and mythological stories inspire us to gain courage, self-confidence, and overcome fear, as well as confusion. Some of these sites does not only help us to connect, interact with people, but also provide online job opportunities to add to our passive income by selling services, physical and digital products, blogging, freelancing, and affiliate marketing from the comfort of our homes at a click, thereby maintaining a good work-life balance. And there's no denying the fact that this up graduation has curbed loneliness to a great extent, speeded up communication, and has brought so many social changes. But if we turn to the other side, we can see that the social media has done more harm than good. To justify this, let me ask a question. Is it more important than the basic necessities of life? Food, shelter, and clothes? No, right? Well, this does not even come in the list. Therefore, this can be counted as add on to our comfortable life. But for some, this acts negative and makes life equal to hell on earth. A recent survey reveals that an average person is online in social media platform for 2.4 hours a day. And if you are addicted to using social networks, the number of hours would be higher, putting your job at risk if you also use these apps while you're at work. The use of social media has increased since the pandemic times. Therefore, now let us look at the evils social media has brought in our society with itself. The misbeliefs. There is not a single sure shot tool or method to verify the authenticity of the information provided in the daily news feed of various social media sites. Unscrupulous, evil-minded users circulate misinformation, leading to serious crimes like mob lynching, communal riots, and others, as these news spreads faster than fire and travels faster than sound. Fake healthcare products, crash courses to get richer or powerful, and others are advertised in such appealing way that people fall an easy prey to the claims made. And once the amount is credited to their account, we won't find any product name or the person anymore. And we usually find people getting robbed of money and other valuables by believing the false, tall claims made by these unregistered, unauthenticated businesses running amok the whole online business world. The most important and readily available resource to mankind is time, the only asset gifted to us without any hard work. People nowadays, especially amidst this pandemic, have become couch potatoes who just while away their time on the internet and procrastinate their work as if they are blessed with enough of time that would never deplete. One should never forget that time and tide waits for no one or for none, and therefore there are ways to utilize this time in productive forms, but people prefer being lazy than working towards achieving their goals. Money is meant to be earned and not to be wasted on useless subscriptions for whiling away time on the internet to get pleasure for an hour or two. Again, when the subscribe period ends, the person gets too much attached and involved in watching the series that he does not even think for a minute before taking on another subscription and end up wasting the whole day watching them. People also fall easy prey to the false claims made by the advertisers and get robbed of their hard-earned money by buying the products or services without verifying their quality and authenticity. Some websites offer easy loans and rob the subscribers by misusing the legal documents submitted and sometimes even siphoning away with huge money from the bank accounts. Health is the best and most valuable gift from the Almighty, which forms the very basis of our peaceful and happy existence, which gets endangered when people get addicted and hooked to these sites for abnormally long hours. and they become obese, which is a major cause for other chronic ailments like diabetes, blood pressure, pains in joints, and loss of vision. These ailments, again, drain the finances of the concerned person trying to recover with medicines, exercise regimes, and other methods. Youngsters who spend long hours on these sites damage the cognitive part of the brain by watching mindless stuff over the internet, and their ability to think, reason, or argue worsens over time. And thirdly, undoubtedly, social networking sites has helped in building relationships with people far away, but with this comes the threat to our privacy. Our personal data can be stolen and used in many ways. Some companies, advertisers, take the advantage of our data and make us easy targets for their ads by data scraping, etc. Some research companies hack our private information and sell the compiled data to others. And sometimes, however, no matter how cautious we are about our personal privacy settings in our own account, we cannot control what our friends share online. More often, we can be tagged in photos and posts about their personal lives, even without our consent, that could put us in unavoidable troubles. A major change is seen amongst the commoners when they reply vaguely to questions put to them without even measuring its meaning. They get encouraged to answer rudely from some short video clips that are purportedly made only for entertainment purpose. They do not falter using cuss words in some instances. In a desperate bid to post anything and everything on their accounts, some are seen recording videos of life-threatening incidents instead of coming forward to lend a helping hand. Even if they do so, it is done for collecting likes and comments on their posts. In the name of providing easy entertainment, insulting remarks through memes, porn jokes come pouring in, disturbing the minds of young people as there are no ready checks available to curb their broadcasts. And this is what business and political rivals do to paint a different picture of their rival by voice makeovers, editing videos and pictures to gain more popularity and damaging their rivals' images in the minds of commoners. The sites are full of such instances. The products are advertised on these sites in such appealing ways that we fall for it, order it, and then find that we really never needed them. And thus it leads to consumerism that indirectly stresses resources at our disposal and making us mentally ill. It also, number 7, distracts minds and focus. It negates our ability and energy to think and decide about the future of the country in terms of economic progress, because we are tempted to follow useless matters more as they have a feeling of thrill and excitement about them, like nepotism in Bollywood, bad past and present set of politicians, rigged systems. No leader celebrity can ever lead the country to prosperity, hold on to our progress sure-footedly in comparison to other developed economies. So, why wasting our limited resources on these useless issues instead of focusing on our personal growth and development and making India rich and humble? For achieving this, we have to let go of our comfort and start working harder on our career and engage our mind in some productive and creative things. And as we can see that besides the above mentioned evils of social media, the platforms there are so many divine aspects that can be realized with its controlled and balanced use. We can neither live a social life without it, nor abandon its use completely. Hence, we arrive to the conclusion that social media is not less than a necessary evil. And this was written by Purva Mittal for Medium.com. And I would like to just touch base on this topic. I think I truly agree with what this author has written about the evils of social media. But you got to remember also, too, that we are using the internet for either to help or to hurt. And in this day and age, we need to help people as much as we can. As I mentioned yesterday, trying to get the information that you solely deserve through the media outlets is very tough and very difficult. Well, use this program here, the DMS 3000 News Live, to get all of your information, whether it's headlines, books, something of that sort, events that take place throughout the week. This program is meant for you. And we hope that as we continue along here, that this show will continue to be a staple in your morning routine here on the David 3000 Network. David and myself plan these shows very well in advance. I usually do Monday and Tuesday, and we've got Brandon Martin and other great reporters to come in and fill in for Brandon when he's not available. I think Brandon's going to be here Monday and Friday, Wednesday and Friday, but whoever's here tomorrow will give you a fantastic show with that. So on this editorial, excuse me, let me take a swig here. And what I just read for you folks goes back to what I was saying yesterday in the more harsher tones, but today I wanted to tone it down a little bit more for you. So with this in mind, again, here is an opportunity for you to make good with the choices you make on social media. Again, you have the power to and the freedom to choose whatever you want to view. If you want to fill your head with the most disgusting things that the internet has to offer you, that's your choice. But again, you might not get the respect that you so deserve from it. And don't expect people to respect you, in this case, if you choose to go down that path. Use the social media sites to gain the most information, make a decision, and decide whether or not this fits into your life. For This Is an Editorial, I'm Jason DeCanio. Folks, thank you again for joining us here today. It's been a great Tuesday episode. I hope we had some fun with the book review and the 54th anniversary of Woodstock and the 25th anniversary of the iMac Pad. What's going to be on tomorrow? Who knows? But I do know that Brandon Martin will be here Wednesday and Friday to give you episodes 43 and 45. And David St. Dennis himself will be here on Thursday to give you episode 44. So lots of good stuff happening the next 3 days. I'm going to take my 3 days of going back to work, and I'll see you guys next Monday for more great topics. And if you would like to, of course, submit a topic for any of the shows that I host or that Brandon or David or any of our other reporting people do, just send us a DM, a direct message, and we will definitely fit that into the program anytime that we have further on down the line. Don't forget tonight, folks, on Discord at 8 o'clock, we have a meeting of the minds of the David 3000 Network. For all of you who have signed up for that meeting, please come and join us for another look at the fall schedule, which is going to be launching soon in 2 weeks. September 4th, the big fall schedule on the David 3000 Network launches. I am going to be with Snowman and Cole Johnson at 11 o'clock. So for the sports report. And like I said, folks, have a fantastic day. And remember, be honest, be real, and keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. We'll see you next week right here on the David 3000 Network. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Don't forget to subscribe to the David Dyson Network for great more content like this one.